BrahMos Aerospace, the formidable partnership between India and Russia in the defense sector, has set its sights on crafting hypersonic missiles, projecting that within the next 5 to 6 years, the joint venture will proudly unveil its maiden creation in this domain. This statement came during a momentous event, commemorating the Silver Jubilee Year celebration, which showcased the remarkable journey of this exceptional military partnership program. BrahMos Aerospace has acquired 80 hectares of land in Uttar Pradesh for a new manufacturing center, with an initial investment of 300 crore rupees. The facility aims to be operational by mid-2024, and will produce 80 to 100 BrahMos systems annually. Additionally, the development of the Brahmos-NG missile is progressing, with plans for serial production in the next 3 to 5 years. This expansion will strengthen India's missile industry consortium, and establish the country as a leading defense technology center globally. Is having the hypersonic and NG variants propel India to achieve great power, or to attain superpower status? Well, the development of hypersonic and advanced military technologies can certainly contribute to a country's military capabilities and global influence. However, achieving superpower status requires a combination of factors, including economic strength, political influence, technological innovation, cultural influence, and military power. Nonetheless, among these factors, military strength and the ability to manufacture defense items are of utmost importance. India shattered the fifth nation syndrome and established its supremacy by pioneering the world's first supersonic cruise missile system through the BrahMos program. But a nation's global standing and geopolitical influence hinge on the convergence of military strength, robust defense manufacturing, and diplomatic leverage. To further solidify its global standing, India should focus on these key areas. A capable military allows proactive engagement in peacekeeping, substantial contributions to global security, and enhanced diplomacy. Without this, participation in peacekeeping declines, security contributions diminish, and diplomatic influence weakens, jeopardizing the nation's international position. The fifth nation syndrome is a notion that describes the perception of India as a developing country falling behind global military superpowers. It was coined by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, former president and renowned scientist of India. While the term is commonly linked with India, it can also be used to describe the perception of other developing countries that are seen as lagging behind major global military powers in terms of military capabilities and influence. The term suggests that these countries, despite their size and potential, are considered to be behind the world's top military powers, or First Nations. This situation presents numerous challenges and implications, including security vulnerabilities, diminished influence, technological gaps, economic consequences, regional power dynamics, and dependence on alliances. Consequently, countries often strive to acquire nuclear weapons as a deterrent against potential attacks or threats. However, the quest for this goal is also met with obstacles imposed by other developed nations, exemplified by the staunch opposition of the United States and Israel towards Iran's nuclear program. Israel, in particular, has made it clear that it is prepared to take military action against Iran if it persists in its nuclear weapons. Likewise, Pakistan has found itself subjected to similar threats from Israel, while India has also experienced similar circumstances. This obstruction stems from the belief that nuclear weapons in the hands of unstable nations have grave consequences, escalating the risk of nuclear conflict. For example, if Pakistan's terror group TTP gains control of nuclear weapons, the consequences would be severe. But consider Iraq, which lacked defense capabilities and faced an attack as a result. Had the country possessed nuclear weapons, the United States would have likely approached the situation differently, opting for investigation rather than military action. Similarly, North Korea's possession of nuclear weapons has deterred direct military intervention, prompting the US to instead impose sanctions and engage in negotiations. The 1962 border war with China prompted India to develop nuclear weapons, realizing that conventional military strength alone might not deter aggression. Following the war, India sought to strengthen its defense capabilities, including the development of nuclear weapons. By 1964, India had reached a point where it had the resources and infrastructure necessary to embark on a nuclear weapons program. India faced international backlash and sanctions after conducting its nuclear tests in 1974, Pokhran-1, and 1998, Pokhran-2. These sanctions aimed to deter India's nuclear ambitions and isolate the country economically. This had significant implications for India's economy and technological progress, restricting access to certain technologies and international collaborations. However, despite the challenges, India remained committed to developing a credible nuclear deterrent. India's nuclear doctrine professes credible minimum deterrence and is built around a no-first-use posture. India's remarkable achievements extend beyond its nuclear program. India's steadfast dedication to technological progress has been met with criticism from some rich nations and media outlets. India faced criticism for prioritizing its space program. However, these critiques fail to acknowledge the profound impact and benefits that India's space missions bring to both its own citizens and the world at large. Initiatives such as the Mars Orbiter mission and the lunar missions provide platforms for scientific exploration, while inspiring a new generation of aspiring scientists and engineers, especially among underprivileged communities. The Indian Space Research Organization has proven that its investments in space exploration contribute to scientific progress and the betterment of society. This achievement catapulted India into the League of Space Superpowers, enabling it to independently launch satellites and conduct space missions. Moreover, India's responsible regional power in South Asia shapes international affairs. It actively engages in regional forums, addresses challenges, and promotes stability and development, fostering cooperation with neighboring countries. This enhances India's influence and provides a platform to address global concerns. While this is noteworthy, but its limited military strength in comparison to some other major powers is a well-known factor in international affairs. Military strength is a crucial consideration for nations when asserting their interests and participating in global affairs. Despite India's self-sufficiency in various defense items such as missiles, frigates, destroyers, submarines, and more, the country still finds itself among the top importers rather than the top exporters in the defense sector. There are still some cutting-edge defense technologies and platforms that India cannot create on its own. Some examples include stealth aircraft, aircraft engines, advanced combat tanks, etc. While India has developed and deployed several main battle tanks, such as the Arjun MBT, it has not yet reached the level of advanced tank technologies possessed by countries like the United States, Russia, or Germany. Additionally, a strong defense industry not only fulfills domestic requirements, but also facilitates exports, bolstering a country's economic and strategic standing, and also enables a nation to reduce dependence on external suppliers. Reliance on alliances and purchasing defense equipment from stronger nations can erode a country's status, as the stronger nation would exploit the dependence for its own benefit. A striking example is Pakistan's association with the United States, where American influence shaped Pakistani policies, compromising its autonomy and sovereignty. In contrast, India's response to similar external pressures showcases its resilience in avoiding a similar fate. Despite receiving assistance from both the Soviet Union and the United States during the Cold War era, India pursued a policy of non-alignment and upheld a significant level of autonomy in its decision-making. India firmly maintained its independence and steadfastly refused to submit to Western attempts to exert control. However, despite India's efforts to enhance its global standing, it continues to be perceived by wealthier and more powerful nations as a dependent nation in terms of defense purchasing, and that it lacks the ability to manufacture crucial defense goods for sale to other nations, like, for example, despite poor relations, the US buys some defense components from China. Another example illustrating this dynamic is Turkey. Despite not being considered a major global power, Turkey has gained status due to its ability to manufacture defense items. For example, when militaries throughout the world need armored vehicles to deal with emerging threats, such as improvised explosive devices, they often look to Turkey. Turkey's success as a developer of weapons systems has led it to become a key supplier around the world. Also, the country has been involved in the production and supply chain of several defense systems used by NATO member countries. This showcases how defense manufacturing capabilities can play a role in elevating a country's stature, even if it lacks other significant attributes of global power. Another example is China. Despite manufacturing defense items of questionable quality, and often accused of copying technologies, has managed to establish itself as a powerful player on the global stage. Interestingly, despite the country's perceived cruelty, neither the United States nor NATO has initiated a direct military confrontation with China. An illustrative example of this is the situation surrounding the supply of the coronavirus to the world, and the origin of the virus still remains a matter of scientific investigation. In contrast, if a less powerful country, let's say poor country, were to be implicated in a similar virus supply, it is likely that harsh consequences would follow, leaving little room for words to express the severity of the situation. China's actions in this regard have not faced significant repercussions from these powerful entities. Instead, the United States sees India as a potential counterbalance to China, much like how Ukraine is supported by the West to counter Russia. However, there is a key difference in India's case. While Ukraine receives aid and arms to counter Russia, India is expected to purchase armaments to counter China in case of war. And as long as India can afford to buy from the US and other Western countries, India may receive support, but this support might waver if financial constraints arise. Investing in defense capabilities is undeniably a costly undertaking. However, it is imperative for a country to prioritize the defense of its territory and its people. By developing a strong defense industry and allocating funds for research and development, a nation can enhance its security, deter threats, and safeguard its people from adverse situations seen in some parts of the Middle East. And the current geopolitical landscape is unpredictable in nature. It is a situation where political relationships, alliances, conflicts, and power dynamics among nations are characterized by instability, rapid changes, and uncertainty. And in a democracy, strength is crucial to advocate for peace. And a strong weapon, like BrahMos, gives India the strength to work for peace in the world. When a country possesses advanced and powerful weapons, it can deter prospective enemies and discourage conflict. This deterrent effect can contribute to regional stability and discourage hostile actions, ultimately promoting peace. And with a robust domestic defense manufacturing base and technologically advanced military, can enhance a country's status as a superpower nation. It enables the country to protect its interests effectively and engage in peacekeeping efforts, thereby contributing to international stability. Additionally, a strong military capability allows a nation to shape international affairs, exert influence, and actively participate in global decision-making processes. Undoubtedly, BrahMos Aerospace's relentless efforts in developing advanced variants like Brahmos-NG and hypersonic BrahMos serve as a testament to India's prowess and demonstrate its technological capabilities to the world. However, to achieve superpower status, India must excel in manufacturing everything from small screws to cutting-edge aircraft engines, surpassing the achievements of even the most powerful nations.